Thank you so much for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. You saw some of the images of the strong to severe storms we've been tracking across parts of Oklahoma and Texas the past couple of days. And I will be tracking another risk of severe weather here as we head into this afternoon as well. But in addition to the risk of severe weather across the southeast and the Gulf Coast, I also want to point out we have some pretty good showers here lifting through parts of Oklahoma into Kansas. That is really going to cool things off. And speaking of cooler weather and wet weather, this atmospheric river continues across parts of the northwest, just bringing flooding rainfall to the coast, even some mountain snow continuing in the forecast here as we head into tonight. Temperature-wise here for today, we'll see some cooler air being pulled across parts of the plains. In Kansas, we're going to be seeing highs stuck in the 50s with the rainfall. So for everyone out there just who's been patiently waiting for fall-like conditions, it's moving in here as we head into this afternoon. But I also want to point out, at least across South Texas, it's going to be warm, and not just today. We'll be tracking record-breaking heat as we head into Monday. But in the meantime, here across the Northeast, we'll see some rain chances here scattered about, including Buffalo. But overall, it'll be a dry forecast with highs, a mix of 50s and 60s. So a decent, nice little weekend in October across the Northeast. Across the Northern Plains, we'll actually see warming conditions here across parts of the high plains. Temperatures are going to climb into the 70s. There will be some rain chances in the forecast here for today across parts of Minnesota, into parts of Iowa as well. The overall risk of severe weather, not going to be there, but there will be some brief heavy downpours of rainfall heading into late this afternoon, heading into this evening as well. But across the Northwest, it's all about the rainfall here across the coastal areas of both Washington State and Oregon. Temperature-wise, we'll see temperatures mainly a mix of 50s and 60s here across the region. Across the Southwest, a quiet forecast for the most part. If you live south of San Francisco, it's going to be dry here across the Southwest with some highs still climbing into the 80s, including 85 in Vegas, upper 80s there in Phoenix. Across the Southern Plains, tracking that risk of severe weather here pretty much along and east of the I-35 corridor from Oklahoma City and Norman down through Dallas and Austin. There will also be a chance of showers and storms across West Texas as well, so heads up for that. Once again, if you live south of I-10, it's still summertime there across South Texas, and once again, we'll be tracking record-breaking heat heading into Monday. And then across the Southeast, the one thing I'll point out about this forecast, if you have any weekend plans here across the Southeast, try to get them done today. And the reason why is, for the most part across the region, we're going to see lots of sunshine with relatively comfortable temperatures. But as we head into tomorrow, Sunday, and as we head into Monday, we'll see increasing rain chances across the region. So once again, try to get those plans done this afternoon if you can. But our top stories are going to be both Melissa in the Caribbean and the severe thunderstorm chances across the south. Now in Texas, lightning, damaging winds, and hail have all been reported. Now those storms left more than 250,000 customers without power overnight. Now today, more severe thunderstorm chances are on the way across parts of Texas and Louisiana especially, so we'll be tracking that. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, Melissa is just starting to gather strength. Melissa is expected to become a major hurricane by the end of the weekend. The storm will slowly drift near and then over Jamaica. And we are forecasting for catastrophic impacts likely across parts of the Western Caribbean. We're going to go ahead and start, though, with a closer look at that risk of severe weather across the Southern Plains. And unfortunately for the risk of severe weather we're tracking today, it's almost a carbon copy as far as the overall zone that we were tracking yesterday. So as we head throughout today, the big difference for today's forecast compared to yesterday, today the level 2 on our AccuWeather risk impact scale for severe weather has actually expanded compared to the one we were tracking yesterday. But still, any storms that form in this highlighted region will be capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and even an elevated non-zero tornado threat. We had some tornadoes earlier this morning across Lake Charles there in Louisiana, but as of right now, the first batch of rain is continuing to work its way across the Mississippi. We have seen some severe thunderstorms there across central Texas early this morning, and we're going to continue to track that because as we go forward in time here with future track radar, you can see stopping the clock at 3 p.m., we'll be watching out for showers and storms there developing to the west of the I-35 corridor. And then right around 5 to 6 p.m. this afternoon, that's when that wall of water will be crossing the I-35 corridor. So what this means for you is that you definitely don't want to be stuck out on a major highway with heavy rainfall and hail developing here as we head into this evening. I also want to point out we'll be tracking some storms there north of I-20 up towards the Red River. So North Texas, Southern Oklahoma will be tracking some storm chances as well. But just look at this wall of water that develops here as we head throughout this evening and tonight. So if you live along the Mississippi from the Gulf Coast up to about Memphis, you're going to be dealing with flooding rainfall here as we head into your early Sunday morning. But the latest here on Melissa, these are the numbers. Right now, Melissa has sustained winds at 70 miles an hour. The threshold between tropical storm and hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane, is 75 miles an hour. So it does look like throughout the afternoon, we are going to see Melissa strengthen to a Category 1 hurricane. But right now, it's still maintaining as a tropical storm. Here's an updated look at our AccuWeather exclusive iPath, and you can see that for the most part, it's primarily going to be impacting the Caribbean. And taking a closer look, I mean, look at this. Every single one of those icons, for the most part, are exactly 24 hours apart. So between now and Tuesday, this storm is not moving very far. And unfortunately, that means that primarily for flooding rainfall, on our AccuWeather risk impact scale for hurricanes, our real impact scale, this is going to be a level 5, which is at the very top of our risk impact scale. And look at this. That is one we are forecasting for catastrophic impacts across this region. So Jamaica is going to be included on this as well. So we are going to continue to track this very carefully here as we head throughout the weekend and as we head into early parts of next week. In the meantime, let's go and take a closer look here at the Big Three.
Well, all that stormy weather in the southern plains, it's got to work its way east, and it does mean rain returns to the southeast. Thankfully, though, not the severe weather that we are seeing.
That's right, but I will point out that as we head into this afternoon, this is your Saturday forecast. Yes, most of the showers, most of the storms will be to the west of the Mississippi. So this means if you live in the southeast and you have any weekend plans, any outdoor plans, try to get them done today because the rain, even some rumbles of thunder, will start to move in the forecast starting tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a good beach day for some locations, including there the east coast of Florida. We do have sunshine in the Sunshine State as well as Charlotte, where we're at 67 for the high. Nice day in Virginia Beach as well.
Absolutely, but as we head into your Sunday, that's when the rainfall starts to move its way in. We'll be watching out for some heavy rainfall for parts of Mississippi, Alabama, even the Florida Panhandle. Be watching out for some heavy showers, even some rumbles of thunder. And for Sunday afternoon, temperature-wise, you can see some rain-cooled 60s and 70s, Montgomery over towards Jackson, Mississippi. But you were talking about the Sunshine State. Well, it'll still be plenty warm there across parts, especially South Florida.
Yeah, we'll be adding the rain, though, for so many, which means you're either staying in or maybe only going out for church services as we head through Sunday in the south. All right, let's take you into the northwest because we still have a pretty stormy time here. It seems we haven't shaken it much.
That's right. This atmospheric river has just been persisting in the forecast here for the past couple of days, and unfortunately, doesn't really look like we're going to see any relief in the forecast, at least for the next couple of days.
You can see all the wet weather and the cool weather in place, and hey, there will be mountain snow. So while those images have been stunning of all the action coming into the Washington and Oregon coastlines, if you get in the high elevations, it's white.
That's right. We're not talking inches of snow. We are talking feet of snow for some of these areas, especially some of these higher passes. So definitely get ready for some of that heavier snowfall.
And we're not finished yet. The stormy pattern does continue as we go into the upcoming week. So be ready and keep the rain gear handy, so to speak.
Absolutely. Those winds will be pretty strong as well. So pretty similar forecast to what we've been tracking the past couple of days. Now, we're also tracking a cool, drier, and in some cases brighter forecast for parts of the Northeast. But the one thing I do want to focus on initially is going to be we're going to be tracking a potential nor'easter as we head into Tuesday here across the mid-Atlantic and especially the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
The rain comes in, but some of the worst could be towards the coastlines. We will see some of those onshore winds come through, and that will mean not only rough surf, but also the potential for more beach erosion in many spots like North Carolina and coastal New Jersey.
Yeah, that's been one of the areas we've seen the worst beach erosion so far because of just the inundation of some of those strong coastal winds. But Melissa, I also want to point out, so far we've been seeing a very fall-like pattern temperature-wise across parts of the Northeast and New England. I do want to point out, even as we head into early parts of November, that chilly air that's been dominating the forecast is going to migrate farther to the south, as far south as even the Florida Panhandle heading into the month of November.
So we know many of you are hitting up the pumpkin patches or maybe donning the costumes. Make sure they're a little bit big so you can fit a few extra layers underneath to keep warm, much like you would need today.
Yeah, overall it's going to be a cool forecast here for your Saturday afternoon with temperatures climbing into the 40s, 50s, and we'll even see some 60s off to the south.
And that's going to wrap our Big Three.
And here's an updated look at our AccuWeather exclusive U.S. flight cancellation forecast numbers. And for today, we'll see an elevated number of flight cancellations across the Gulf Coast because of the storm chances. After that, heading into early next week, we'll see a calmer weather pattern, but that nor'easter across the East Coast will definitely impact things on Wednesday. So if you have any air travel plans, definitely pay attention to the forecast. Stay right here with AccuWeather Weekend. We'll have more updates coming up right after this.